So, NaLyssa Smith. It's just always the case. But, like, NaLyssa Smith never helps herself with some of the things that she says.
With Howard's addition, the Fever gained both shooting and toughness. Enter Sophie Cunningham, an ideal addition. She brings top-tier shooting, strong defense, and the energy Indiana needs. While Smith faced difficulties adjusting, Cunningham excels. She joins a backcourt with Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, improving floor spacing and defensive versatility. Her presence will also open up more opportunities for Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard inside. This trade is more than just a change, it's a bold statement. The Fever are building a serious contender, and Cunningham is the key piece they were missing. Smith took an unexpected step by publicly criticizing the Indiana Fever. The former star player didn't hold back, sending a final critique at her old team after her trade to Dallas.
Forgot to mention, NaLyssa Smith is gone. If you're the Fever, how great do you feel about that? My goodness, right? Like, finally.
Things take a turn as Smith positions herself as the victim, delivering a parting shot that's sure to catch attention across the league. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever may have just pulled off one of the season's most surprising moves. Sophie Cunningham is headed to Indy, bringing her deadly three-point shooting, and much more. Ready to dive into the drama and see why this trade could change the Fever's future? Let's go.
I got frustrated watching her play, and she represented, I think, the remnants of anything else that was wrong with the team, right? From the Christie side era and everything. And last year was a good year, all things considered. Wish her the best. But I actually think the Fever get great return here, considering I don't know where all these people think NaLyssa Smith's value was so high all of a sudden, given the way she played.
Where things get interesting is Smith playing the victim while sending a parting shot that's turned heads across the league. Meanwhile, the Fever may have just pulled off one of the biggest steals in recent memory. Sophie Cunningham is headed to Indy, bringing much more than her elite three-point shooting. Ready to break down the drama and see why this trade could be a game-changer for the Fever? Let's dive in.
Goes to the wings, gets a fresh start. Hopefully that works out for her. Arike Ogunbowale has already welcomed NaLyssa Smith there. So that's part of this trade also. So you get these, a lot of moving parts here, because that's something a lot of people had anticipated and thought that the Fever were going to move on from Smith. And when Howard came in, it felt like, okay, Howard is taking her spot. And now Smith is no longer there to have a spot in the starting lineup or off the bench.
Could you clarify what you mean by many people in the fan? Are you looking to incorporate this phrase into the rewritten text or need help rewording it?
Ow!
Oh, I'm sorry.
You poked me in the eye.
You're a troll.
You did.
I did not poke you.
Did you do it on purpose?
I did not poke you in the eye.
Did you do it on purpose?
I got him the knee. That was my reflex.
It looked like you were just laughing.
It looks like you're asking about LISS. If you're referring to low-intensity, steady-state cardio, it's a type of workout involving steady, moderate activity like walking, cycling, or light jogging for an extended period. If it's something else you had in mind, feel free to let me know, and I'll gladly clarify.
These games, when you talk about championship levels, are won and lost in the margins, and so we've got to be great in the margins. We've got to grow in those areas.
The Fever needed players who could shoot, defend multiple positions, and excel in the fast-paced modern WNBA. Once seen as a cornerstone of the franchise, Smith now seemed out of step with the team's future. Her struggle to adapt was becoming more apparent, signaling that change was on the horizon.
I think we have a common goal. I think our visions are aligned. I think the way we go about our work is aligned, and it's consistent. And you're going to have consistency, and you need consistency.
In just a few years, NaLyssa Smith went from a potential franchise cornerstone to a player the Fever were ready to move on from. But why the change? It all comes down to the team's new winning formula, and trust me, it's a game changer. Enter new head coach Stephanie White, with a bold vision to transform the Fever's identity. Think high energy, fast-paced basketball centered around versatility and adaptability.
Is the most important thing. You got to have somebody that can run up and down the floor and catch those passes Caitlin's going to be throwing.
Here's where things get interesting. Smith's slower style and inconsistent shooting became glaring weaknesses in this new system. The Fever needed players who could run the floor, hit threes, and switch on defense quickly. And Smith? She just couldn't keep up. But that's not the whole picture. The front office didn't just dip their toes into this new philosophy, they jumped in headfirst. They went all in, focusing on players who could complement Caitlin Clark's high-energy style. The goal was clear: build a fast, relentless team that would leave opponents scrambling to catch up.
They had the defense, rebounding, rim running with Howard. They had more shooting and two tough players, feisty players. One player who's going to have Caitlin Clark's back, of course, in Cunningham.
With Howard's addition, the Fever gained both shooting and toughness. Enter Sophie Cunningham, the perfect fit. She brings top-tier shooting, strong defense, and the energy Indiana needs. While Smith struggled to adjust, Cunningham thrives. She joins a backcourt with Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, enhancing floor spacing and defensive flexibility. Her presence will also open up more opportunities for Aliyah Boston and Natasha Howard inside. This trade isn't just a move, it's a statement. The Fever are building a contender, and Cunningham is the missing piece.
In Sophie Cunningham, the Indiana Fever are trading for a multi-dimensional wing, capable of knocking down the three ball.
Cunningham is starting to cook. Cunningham 3 is good. Cunningham from the corner.
Locking down defenders.
Several deflections, and this time she gets the steal and the N1 opportunity.
And injecting passion and emotion into the game and into her team. On offense, Cunningham is a floor spacer and a deep shot maker. Each of her last 3 seasons, she's finished top 20 in the WNBA in threes made per minute on the floor among qualified players. And she will join a backcourt that features 2 of the top 5 three-point shot makers from a year ago, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Cunningham's last 4 seasons, she shot an impressive 38% from the three-point line. And among players to hit at least 200 threes over that time, only 4 players in the entire league have shot it better from distance, one of those being Kelsey Mitchell. And Cunningham's ability to space the floor should give the Fever All-Star backcourt even more room to create on the drive than they had a year ago. But let's look at her defense, where in Phoenix, her versatility was on full display. Capable of guarding 1 through 4 in the lineup, she would defend star point guards one game, then be a small ball 4 the next night. As the Fever look to improve defensively from a season ago, her style fits Stephanie White's perfectly. Aggressive, in your face, and physical.